show up tonight. I hate to get it, it's tomorrow. If I say I have trips.
To stop us because they
I think we just made a more mess. It wouldn't be bad.
well, that our county isn't very helpful. Give us that information. It's like, you know. Yeah, like here's what they would have to do if, or something like that.
So if MoDOT's not going to recommend it,
I don't believe it.
I guess we could put up some signage. They said to direct them out to Hempstead, but I think the truckers are going to follow.
Joanne?
Highway C is backed all the way up the, or up the,
Yes.
up the, yeah.
Yeah, I was on the phone with him until just a minute ago. He should be on the way up.
But he hasn't officially said that. He said that he's having staff look at it.
The chairman was just asking if you were joining us tonight.
Game time is on time.
All right, Chair, see what you can
I get it. I get it. I know.
It's true.
I don't like it either, but I get it.
It's a selling point.
Yes, kind of.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the St. Charles County Council meeting for Tuesday, October 14th. We moved one night because of Columbus Day, so thanks everybody for making it on Tuesday. We will start with our invocation from Reverend Elise Quintanilla from Winsfield United Methodist and Pledge of Allegiance by Councilman Dave Hammond. Please stand, remove your caps. All right.
Let us pray. Lord, today I live a prayer of gratitude for the chance to serve this community. I ask you for your guidance over this council, so that in every word and decision there may be wisdom, respect, and a sincere desire to pursue the common good. May your blessings reach everyone here, including those who work for this city's well-being, and all who trust in its leadership. May justice, compassion, and unity prevail here. In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. You may be seated. Please call the roll.
Councilman Swanson.
Here, ma'am.
Councilman Brazel.
Here.
Councilman Hammond.
Here.
Councilman Elam.
Here.
Councilman Hollander.
Here.
Councilwoman York.
Here.
Councilman Baker.
Here.
We will start tonight with a conditional use permit. This is a bill for introduction, Bill 5430. Do you want to read the bill first?
Bill number 5430, requested by Michael Herbert, sponsored by Patty York. An ordinance granting conditional use permit Cup 25-03 for an outdoor storage yard for trailers, recreational vehicles, and boats to Jerry and Kim Lindeman, property owner.
You solemnly swear that you will tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
I do.
Hi, Robert.
Hello. Hi, I'm Robert Myers, Planning and Zoning Division Director for St. Charles County, to make a brief presentation on this application. A conditional use permit in the I-1 Light Industrial Zoning District at Orchard Farm, which is an unincorporated community in North St. Charles County. Does not have sanitary sewer service, but there was a small subdivision platted there in the railroad years. The subject property is a little less than 5 acres and is currently the site of the, okay, I always get this wrong, whether it's the COOP or the co-op. Co-op, maybe someone.
Co-op.
Co-op, thank you.
Co-op.
Thank you, yeah. The site of the co-op, it's the same property that we're talking about. In 2019, a conditional use permit was applied for the same use for 138 spots for the outdoor storage, rental storage of recreational vehicles and boats and trucks. That was approved in 2019. The applicants diligently began working on improvements, but unfortunately the conditional use permit expired before the improvements were completed. So they're here before you tonight to apply again for the conditional use permit to follow up. The adjoining properties are all zoned industrial and commercial. There is one existing house next door to the north. The site plan that they propose, the concept that they propose and the improvements that they propose to build would include I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought, a landscape buffer next to the house to help protect that from the visual impacts of the storage yard. Also proposed in the bill before you are conditions that would address land use impacts for the house and for other properties nearby. The conditional use permit criteria are in section 405.510B of the county code, and these specifically, each one of these criteria, they're evaluated in the county staff report that's attached as part of the packet here tonight. The Planning and Zoning Commission held a public hearing on September 17th, and following which they recommended that the county council, by a vote of 6 approval and 0 for denial, they recommended that the county council approve this with conditions.
Anyone have questions for Robert?
If I could just make a comment. Thank you, Robert, for putting in the information about the gentleman who did have some concerns about the guardrail there.
Right.
And how, what do I say, linear that that road is there when people are trying to move farm equipment around. And as we said, it doesn't really happen all that often, and they do have enough sight line to be able to get out, correct?
Yes. So the concern from Mr. Kipp is that when farm machinery like combines are moved along Highway 94, which is inevitable, that because of the guardrail that's located in front of this property, essentially the combine's taking up both lanes. And there's a concern that, you know, there may be a road hazard because of that. But we did check with MoDOT and did confirm that the guardrail has a very specific design and placement to address like the rollover because of the drop off right there to the lower ground on the east side. To prevent that rollover, they have the guardrail placement there at specific distance to the pavement and the design and the length and all that. Luckily, as you pointed out, there's pretty good sight distance up and down that stretch. There's no curve there. So I think that RVs pulling out of this site will be able to see up and down Highway 94 and avoid that sort of thing. The other thing I thought about is the Orchard Farm Fire District. They literally have their fire department right next door, and they're right in front of that guardrail. So I think if it were that much of a problem, we would have heard more from them in the past. But it was a good comment that that we received on that. So, and Planning and Zoning Commission did take that into consideration, that question.
Thank you.
Thank you, Robert. With that, I invite the applicant or their representative to come up.
Yeah, we have Bax Engineering here tonight.
After a long absence, he makes an appearance. It's good to see you again.
Thank you. Thank you. Good to be here.
Do you solemnly swear that you will tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Thank you. Please give your name and address.
Sure. My name is Cliff Heitman. I'm the president of Bax Engineering Company. We are located at 221 Point West Boulevard in St. Charles. As Robert summarized fairly well in his presentation, we're essentially just asking for an extension of the previously approved conditional use permit for the property. We went through that process, got his construction plans approved, got approvals from MoDOT for the entrances, necessary DNR permits, etc. Mr. Lindeman started construction on the project. He worked construction, so he is in and out of town depending on where his job sends him. So I believe he stated at the P&Z meeting he is about 80 to 90% complete with the project now. He just needs a little more time wrap things up and clean it up a little bit. So we're not proposing any changes to the previously approved plan or sets of plans that had gone through the county. He just needs a little more time to finish out his project here. So I'd be happy to address any questions that the council may have.
Any questions? Ms.
Are there two entrances and exits to this property?
It's kind of one big, long entrance, Patty, along there, if you will. There's one entrance that goes into the storage facility, and that is between what is, I'll call it a little general store, and then they've got kind of an outbuilding there where they store supplies and other materials that they sell there. So the entrance is actually behind those buildings, but that's just the one. And then the rest of it's just kind of a pull-off area. Again, it's been there a long time, so there's just the one entrance in and out right now.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Any other questions? Seeing none, thank you.
Thank you.
At this point, we'll open it up to public comment.
Arnie Dienoff.
We have one speaker regarding the CUP. That's fine, Arnie. He'll swear.
I meant public comment for the CUP,
Okay,
not public
okay.
comment
I
for
just
that
wanna make
part.
sure we're on the same page.
No, we were tracking.
Okay.
Do you solemnly swear that you will tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the, I was going to say commission, council. My name is Arnie C. A.C. Dienoff, County Public Advocate. I'm in favor of this proposal. I supported it at the Planning and Zoning Commission. However, I don't see several of the conditions that I recommended to make it a better project. This has been a 5-year-long project. Of course, their conditional use permit had expired, and they're asking for an additional conditional use permit. Flooding issues, as we all know, the rivers flood in this zone, the Mississippi River. There are concerns. Since 5 years ago, there have been major promulgated rules and state regulations through the Department of Natural Resources and our own county codified code of ordinances regarding M4 water issues, retention, detention, discharge onto adjoining properties. And so I think Mr. Heitman had said that on the plan, I believe there is some type of M4 mitigation for retention and detention of waters. So I'm glad to see that that's taking place. I, however, don't see or hear anything about dust control. I was unclear from their original proposal to this proposal if they're asking for concrete blacktop or if they're asking for gravel. So dust control, especially with the residents, that's along part of the parking lot for storage. Landscaping. I would ask staff, and I believe it is part of the recommendation for this part, but not the landscaping barrier, but the installation of a site-proof fence. I believe that that's recommended, and I believe that's part of the ordinance. Hopefully that's still in there. I'd like to see, instead of the adoption of a type 2 landscape barrier because of that adjoining residence, that it be a type 3 landscape barrier, which would add a buffer, kind of like a mound, a built-up property, to not depreciate or not diminish adjoining property values. I don't see anywhere as a condition for prohibition of chemicals or hazardous materials, and especially the storage of fireworks, oil, coolant, transmission fluid. As you all know, a lot of these storage units, these storage facilities, they end up to be a repair shop because it's a cheap way to have a facility to do some maintenance and repairs. So I'd like to see a condition to prohibit fireworks, oil, coolant, transmission fluid, and working on vehicles. And I'd like to limit vehicle repair to owners of motorhomes, boats, trailers, no longer than 48 hours to prevent the site from becoming a repair shop. And the final issue that I asked for a conditional use or a condition is no derelict vehicles on the site for more than 30 days with expired state license plates not being registered through the Missouri Department of Revenue. For those reasons, I support CUP 2503 with the conditions that I've added. Thank you.
Any questions for the speaker? Seeing none, thank you. Any other speakers?
No.
With that, I would invite the representative back up. Does anybody have any questions for the applicant's representative? That was easy.
All right.
Thanks for coming.
Yes, sir.
That's going to conclude the public hearing for tonight on this CUP. It will be up for final passage for our next meeting. So thank you for that. That gets us up to the original aforementioned public comment. This is where you have 3 minutes in which to speak. We generally take alternating speakers for and against on every topic. Our first speaker tonight is?
Rose Zuck on Bill 5431. Zoop.
My name is never first.
We're trying something different, Rose.
Yes, and I'm probably late in talking about this. It's about the Benny Road location, 4140 and 4180. And I go and I look at the maps. There's 2 parcels. 4140 is agricultural, 4180 is commercial, and all the drawings that I see on the package show the field being put on the agricultural site. I know the lights will add to the lights for Bromlesick Park and their astronomy, so I was just curious that with only 20 students, how they're going to do a soccer team without playing other people. So wouldn't that make it a commercial area of their property, especially with lighting? So that was my question. And that's something that they talked about for additional support and future events at their facilities, which is why they wanted the lights. And I was just curious about that. And that's all I had.
All right, thank you very much. Next speaker?
Arnie Dienoff on agenda bills.
Thank you, members of council. Appreciate it once again. A couple issues that I want to go over the consent agenda. First of all, the expanded use of Rapid SOS modules, which would be enhanced colored location, which I'm all about. Allow video, photo, which I thought we already did, with language transition and call transcription, intelligent analyst. My problem is it's a sole bidder, and we're spending $180,500 for a sole bidder. So I thought we already had those capabilities. It'd be nice to hear from Mr. Smith, the Director of Communications, to see exactly why we're going with the sole bidder, and if we already have these capabilities at our disposal right now without adding more modules. Substitute Bill number 5429, an agreement with the City of St. Charles concerning the reestablishment of Main Street and Clark Street and River Point Development in exchange for a assessed value of $4.4 million City Hall. Well, my question is, with that City Hall, according to the consultant hired by the City of St. Charles, it's going to cost to renovate that building $18,000 to $25,000 to bring it in compliance with code compliance, ADA compliance, and other compliances. We want 4 or 5 more trial rooms, 4 or 5 jury rooms, some office space, but we neglect the building just north of the Circuit Court building that sat there. It's in deplorable condition. It's an embarrassment to the City of St. Charles. It's falling apart literally, and that building sits idle. It's where the judges park in the Iron Gate surface parking lot. But the actual building, why don't we renovate it and make it a pride of downtown St. Charles? So it seems like we have all these grand ideas, no financial workshops, no talking about issues, but we just spend money, which is going to be $8.2 million for River Point roads, and then $3.3 million for the municipal complex at the city's building on a bond issue, which is $11.6 million. And we're taking out the caveat of no job creation threshold for River Point, which is ridiculous. So basically, you're paying the sponsor portions of the road board funds. And I just shake my head that we find money for all these things, but when we try to help people and try to get better programs in a better county, we don't have the money. Or Joanne Lycum, the Director of Administration, or the Director of Finance say, sorry, we don't have the funds. But yet, miraculously, you're going to find $18 to $25 million to renovate the St. Charles City Hall. And let's keep the parking garage, which I think is in there. Ordinance 5424 is Child Care Sanitation Inspection Program with the State Department of Public Health. Do we really need to give away our authority instead of keeping it local? The ordinance or the consent agenda with the county collector, sales of back taxes.
Thank you, Mr.
Senior
Dino.
citizens.
Your time has expired.
Okay.
Next speaker?
That's all.
Final speaker. That wraps up public comment for tonight. Moves us to the oral report from the county executive.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, I would like to yield my time to Chief Friz.
Always a pleasure.
Yeah, members of the council, I want to take an opportunity to update you on the Regional Information Intelligence Center that we partnered with St. Louis County on about 3 years ago. They recently got some recognition, which I'm going to highlight, but first I want to explain exactly what they're doing. Thank you. So this is the core mission of the RIC is to monitor live cameras, license plate reader alerts, radio traffic for real-time crime, enhance responder safety and providing location intelligence during pursuits, track suspects, vehicles, and provide live intelligence for officers in the field, support investigations where video retrieval, suspect timelines, intelligence summaries, and serve as a regional hub for information sharing between multiple jurisdictions. These guys are looking at the cameras that we have access to and providing real officer safety. They're the big brother that's looking over. They can give them live updates as things are going on live. They listen to the radio. If there's cameras available, PTZ cameras, they can go in live and give the officers updates even before they arrive. So they're doing some great work. The license plate readers, we're making arrests every day, felony level arrests that are wanted in the region for felony crimes. So we're doing great work. In fact, just a few months ago, they called one out on 70 getting off at Highway K, wanted for an assault up in Florissant, and the car was right in front of me. So talk about a blind squirrel finding the nut. But if it wasn't for the RIC, I wouldn't be able to make that car stop and make that arrest. So, well, I didn't make the arrest, but. This is some of the data. Obviously, we became part of this in 2022, and that's the blue line is the request growth, how much has gone up for their camera footage, and then the other line is the red line is for the license plate reader information and the hits they're getting, and it just continues to increase. So obviously, it's 100% growth the first year because that's when we became involved in it, and then to date, so it just continues to grow. They're getting ready to expand. Early in 2026, they're going to move into a new facility. Right now, they're located in the St. Louis County Police Headquarters, kind of in a makeshift, but it's been very functional for what the space they had to work with. But early next year, St. Louis County is built in a new multi-purpose building. It's going to be a new Central County precinct, a property control, and then a big portion of the building is the Real-Time Crime Center, the RIC, and Fusion Center. So they'll move in there and have the latest and greatest in technology, and it's really going to help enhance the operation. That's a live photo. That's actually last week. So they anticipate moving in February or March of 2026. It's something we're real proud of. Just to show you what kind of work they're doing up there. The RIC started about 5 years ago. We became partners 3 years ago. And just 2 weeks ago, they were awarded the Real-Time Crime Center of the Year. And that's a national award. There was 26 other police departments, real-time crime centers that were nominated. There was a conference down in Atlanta, Georgia. And our folks got the award for the best crime center in the country for 2025. So that's the type of high-level work they're doing. So happy to answer any questions about the RIC and anything going on there.
Where's the building located?
It's going to be located at Midland, Ashby, Page, Ashby, Lindbergh area.
Okay.
Maryland Heights.
I'm sorry?
Maryland Heights.
Yeah, in Maryland Heights, Maryland Heights area.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Okay.
I think thank you for keeping us safe. You and your department do a great job. I mean,
Appreciate that.
Yeah.
And these guys help keep our officers safe, so it's
a
another layer of
win-win.
protection. So doing great things.
thank you.
Any other questions for Chief? Chief, thanks very much for that update. Anything else from the county executive?
I guess at this point, I would just, with regard to the agreement with the City of St. Charles, just will say that that agreement is basically exactly like what we talked to each of you individually about a month or two ago. If you have any questions, we certainly want to answer them when we get to the bill. And I think as we told you then, we had Christine look at the price of this particular option and what it would cost to build a totally new building north of the courthouse, and it wasn't close. It wasn't a difficult decision to request or to recommend to you that we go down this path. So if you have any other questions, I'll be glad to try to answer them.
Any questions for the county executive at this point? All right, when we get to that bill, we may have something. That brings us to the consent agenda. Any items to be removed from the consent agenda? Seeing none, I would entertain a motion to approve.
Second.
Second.
Motion to approve from Mr. Brazel, second from Councilwoman York. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
And opposed? Consent agenda is done. That gets us to bills for final passage, starting with bill number 5423.
Bill number 5423, an ordinance authorizing the county executive to execute a memorandum of agreement with the Missouri Department of Health and Senior Services to provide for secure access to the Missouri State Public Health Laboratory Open Ellis web portal.
Any questions or comments about this bill? Seeing none, please call the roll.
Bill number 5423, an ordinance authorizing the county executive to execute a memorandum of agreement with the Missouri Department of Health and Senior Services to provide and secure access to the Missouri State Public Health Laboratory Open Ellis web portal. Councilman Swanson?
Yes, ma'am.
Councilman Brazel?
Yes.
Councilman Hammond?
Yes.
Councilman Elam?
Yes.
Councilman Hollander?
Yes.
Councilwoman York?
Yes.
Councilman Baker?
Yes.
Bill 5423 passes. That gets us to 5424.
Bill number 5424, an ordinance authorizing the county executive to execute an intergovernmental agreement with the Environmental Child Care Sanitation Inspections Participation Agency for contract ER S220202699 with the Missouri Department of Health and Senior Services for inspections and re-inspections of child care facilities in St. Charles County.
Any questions or comments about this bill? Seeing none, please call the roll.
Bill number 5424, an ordinance authorizing the county executive to execute an intergovernmental agreement with the Environmental Child Care Sanitation Inspections Participation Agency for contract ER S220202699 with the Missouri Department of Health and Senior Services for inspections and re-inspections of child care facilities in St. Charles County. Councilman Brazel?
Yes.
Councilman Hammond?
Yes.
Councilman Elam?
Yes.
Councilman Hollander?
Yes.
Councilwoman York?
Yes.
Councilman Baker?
Yes.
Councilman Swanson?
Yes, ma'am.
Bill number 5424 passes. That gets us to 5425.
Bill number 5425, an ordinance authorizing the county executive to execute form field placement agreements between the St. Charles County Department of Public Health and public and private education institutions.
Questions about this bill? Please call the roll.
Bill number 5425, an ordinance authorizing the county executive to execute form field placement agreements between the St. Charles County Department of Public Health and public and private education institutions. Councilman Hammond?
Yes.
Councilman Elam?
Yes.
Councilman Hollander?
Yes.
Councilwoman York?
Yes.
Councilman Baker?
Yes.
Councilman Swanson?
Yes, ma'am.
Councilman Brazel?
Yes.
Bill 5425 passes. That gets us to 5426.
Bill number 5426, an ordinance amending the 2025 budget adopted in ordinance 24-106 to add the remaining grant allocation of $3,499.72 of the state and local cybersecurity grant awarded to St. Charles County by the Missouri Department of Public Safety.
Any questions or comments? Seeing none, please call the roll.
Bill number 5426, an ordinance amending the 2025 budget adopted in ordinance 24-106 to add the remaining grant allocation of $3,499.72 of the state and local cybersecurity grant awarded to St. Charles County by the Missouri Department of Public Safety. Councilman Elam?
Yes.
Councilman Hollander?
Yes.
Councilwoman York?
Yes.
Councilman Baker?
Yes.
Councilman Swanson?
Yes, ma'am.
Councilman Brazel?
Yes.
Councilman Hammond?
Yes.
That's Bill 5426 passes up to Bill 5427.
Bill number 5427, an ordinance authorizing the county executive to execute certain agreements with the Missouri Highways and Transportation Commission for the Show Me Zero program for receipt of funds totaling $10,500.
Any questions or comments? Please call the roll.
Bill 5427, an ordinance authorizing the county executive to execute certain agreements with the Missouri Highways and Transportation Commission for the Show Me Zero program for receipt of funds totaling $10,500. Councilman Hollander?
Yes.
Councilwoman York?
Yes.
Councilman Baker?
Yes.
Councilman Swanson?
Yes, ma'am.
Councilman Brazel?
Yes.
Councilman Hammond?
Yes.
Councilman Elam?
Yes. Bill 5427 passes. That gets us to 5428.
Bill number 5428, an ordinance amending the 2025 budget adopted in ordinance 24-106 to modify the current budget of the Department of Corrections and Sheriff's Department to create 6 new full-time deputy field services correctional local transport unit positions within the Sheriff's Department to cover a 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. shift 7 days a week in accordance with the interdepartmental agreement entitled Memorandum of Understanding for detainee and inmate transportation to medical and other necessary appointments.
Any questions or comments about this bill?
I just want to say I think this is great. This is really good that Sheriff's Department stepped up. Really appreciate it, and I'm sure Corrections does too. Thank you.
I agree. I'd like to say thanks to the sheriff for helping us out with this and being flexible. So we hope that helps Corrections Department and keeps those folks in corrections and not have to move them out, which I know was a problem that we talked about before. So thanks for that. Please call the roll.
Bill number 5428, an ordinance amending the 2025 budget adopted in ordinance 24-106 to modify the current budget of the Department of Corrections and Sheriff's Department to create 6 new full-time deputy field services correctional local transport unit positions within the Sheriff's Department to cover 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. shift 7 days a week in accordance with the interdepartmental agreement entitled Memorandum of Understanding for detainee or inmate transportation to medical and other necessary appointments. Councilwoman York?
Yes.
Councilman Baker?
Yes.
Councilman Swanson?
Yes, ma'am.
Councilman Brazel?
Yes.
Councilman Hammond?
Yes.
Councilman Elam?
Yes.
Councilman Hollander?
Yes.
Bill 5428 passes. That gets us to 5429.
Bill number 5429, an ordinance authorizing the county executive or his designee to execute an agreement with the City of St. Charles concerning the reestablishment of Main Street from Clark Street to Montgomery Street, 200 North 2nd Street, and the development of roads in the River Point Development District.
Chair would entertain a motion.
Yes, I'd like to make a motion to amend Bill number 5429 and replace it with substitute Bill number 5429.
Second.
Motion made and second. Any discussion on this bill? No. Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? The substitute bill is adopted. Please call the roll.
Substitute Bill number 5429, an ordinance authorizing the county executive or his designee to execute an agreement with the City of St. Charles concerning the reestablishment of Main Street from Clark Street to Montgomery Street, 200 North 2nd Street, and the development of roads in the River Point Development District. Councilman Baker?
Yes.
Councilman Swanson?
Yes, ma'am.
Councilman Brazel?
Yes.
Councilman Hammond?
Yes.
Councilman Elam?
Yes.
Councilman Hollander?
Yes.
Councilwoman York?
Yes.
Substitute Bill 5429 passes. It's good to see Brad Timmy make it up from down the street. That'll get us to bills for introduction, starting with Bill 5431.
Bill number 5431, requested by Mike Hurlbert, sponsored by Joe Brazel, an ordinance affirming the Board of Zoning Adjustments decision on application VAR 25-03A.
Any questions or comments about this bill? Mr. Brazel.
Mr. Melson, would you like to come up and explain what you're petitioning for? If you guys remember, this is similar to the last week. So if you vote yes, that means you agree with the Board of Zoning, like, you know, last time. If you vote no, then you agree with Mr. Melson.
Okay.
Okay.
I don't have to swear in? Okay, how are y'all doing?
No,
Thank you.
you don't.
Thanks for seeing me.
You're good.
Well, I'm here just to talk about the field. I think that where we're at, it's difficult to me because I'm not a lighting expert, so I had to do a lot of research. Thank goodness for ChatGPT. It made life pretty simple. So if you take a look, I made one of these for each one of you, and I'm happy to hand them out. But the field that we're proposing is a practice field, okay? So when you go to a sporting event, the foot candles is like 100 to 2,000 foot candles, all right? It's very bright. If you go to like a high school game, the foot candles of the illumination are going to be 50 to 100. So what the ordinance is right now is you can have a half a candlelight. So I need to explain a half a candlelight. If you look at a nightlight plugged into the wall when you walk down the hallway to go to the bathroom, that's a half a candlelight. So that's what the ordinance is now. We've proposed this field and we've brought these lights down as much as we could to still make it safe for the children. So right now, what the lighting that we're proposing is at 14.27 foot candles. And that's what it illuminates the whole field with. And there also is like blind spots that it needs like to be an under 0.6, so you don't have really dark spots or really bright spots. And the field comes in at a 5.83, which is all on these sheets that I'm happy to provide with you. Where we have an issue is that there's points when we do this, when the lights point down, and I'm hoping you guys have those sheets too because they were submitted, is that on the west to the south side, there's some points where it goes like 0.8 and 0.9 instead of 0.5. Now, I own those properties. Well, my son owns those properties. I gave him those 10 acres, but we own those properties here and here. So on 3 sides of this field, understand we own the property. On one side, to the east side, it goes to 0.8 candlelights instead of 0.5 candlelights. So we're a half of a night light over the ordinance where we're at right now. I've worked with the guys to try to bring this down, but if we go much lower, these kids are going to run into each other while they're out there. We're already at 14.27, and realistically, even a practice field is up to 20. So if you go too dark, it just causes a hazard for my kids, and you know, that's why we're here today. We've got a lot of work already done. The field's done. The lights have been waiting to be put in for months and months and months. This was my oversight. I didn't catch this initially. You know, the size of the poles and that, I just figured if we had a lighted field, we would have a lighted field and we would make it what we could. There was a lot going on building the school as far as that goes. So I'm here tonight asking that, you know, that we have the allowance to go to a 0.9 because that's where we're at, and realistically to the side of my neighbor that, you know, that could be disturbed would be a 0.7 to a 0.8 is right there where that's at. So we're asking tonight that we're allowed to amend this ordinance so that we can put up a lighted field. I don't know if any of you all ever played sports. I grew up playing soccer in St. Louis. I played college soccer. Finding a lit field in the city is very, very difficult. I don't know if you know how many kids play soccer in St. Louis, but it is a lot. We have a Hall of Famer Missouri soccer coach in our school, believe it or not. He's a lifelong friend of mine. He comes every week, 2 times a week. He coaches these kids. So we have a lot of interest in kids that play soccer. So, you know, what is it, another week or so, we're going to have daylight savings time, and at 6 o'clock it's going to be dark outside. So by the time these kids get out of school, they go home, they eat their food. If they don't have a place to practice that's lit, they don't have a place to practice at all. So we're just trying to ask for a very moderate, you know, practice field. This isn't a game field. It'll never be a game field. It'll be used to do training sessions for kids so that we can develop youth soccer players. I don't know. I'm happy to answer any questions if you all have some.
Any other questions?
Yeah, I do.
Yes.
Have you spoken with the neighbor that the 0.8?
I've personally not spoken with the neighbor. I know my son has, and I know that one of his issues is that he says there's some lights that's blinding. Quite frankly, I've already talked to my lighting contractor who's going to put some shields on there for him. My lighting contractor just hasn't come back out because we don't have any lights to go in yet. So as soon as that happens, you know, then I think we're going to be all in good shape. And like I said, this one is at 0.7 or a 0.8. I don't even know what the other ones are. I have to think they're in compliance, or else, I mean, I didn't build the building. I was just a person who paid for the building. I hired somebody to build the building. I'm assuming since we got permits that they were within compliance.
And what's our ordinance say for how long, what time do those lights have to come off?
We have it until 9 o'clock.
9 o'clock?
Yes. That was the condition that you all made last time that I was here.
Any other questions? Mr. Swanson?
I do have a little reservation on this. I know soccer fields, practice fields in general are in high demand, and there's a lot of money that comes with it. My son is out there in Flint Hill by St. Theodore's. It's called Spring Hill Sports Complex. St. Theodore and their partnership all run it. And initially it was just no lights, and they figured out how much money they could make off of it. So then they improved the lighting and everything else. I'm worried about this project having the same effect.
Well, let me explain. I donate $500,000 a year of my own money to this school for it to survive. There's no money being made off of this school. If I ran my business like this, I'd be broke. So I have no interest. I'm building a house, a very nice house. My son's building a very nice house. We're the neighbors. I'm not trying to have a million kids coming out here. I have 9 grandchildren, which is why I got started on this whole project. It was COVID, all the schools were shut down, and it was crazy to me. So I thought, hey, why don't I build a school? Little did I know what that all was going to entail. But this is not a sports complex. It is a single field. It's not even a full-size field. I don't have any intentions on turning it into a for-profit funding center. What I have intentions on doing is taking the kids. I love soccer. My grandkids play soccer. I intend to have teams out there practicing and getting better. But as far as trying to rent out my fields and to do all that, that's not my goal. In any way, shape, or
What
form.
you brought up there is not your goal, but things morph and change over time.
Well,
and I'll guarantee you that in Spring Hill, when it was first put out there was no lights or anything else, and it kind of changed because they found this is a good source of revenue.
Sure.
As you're saying, you're already losing money, and then somebody
No, not losing
let me
money.
finish, please.
I committed $10 million to the project, and I'll pay the $10 million,
Okay.
so it's not losing money.
You're making my case of voting no against it since you
Okay,
didn't let me
well,
finish. I would like to have finished my statement, but
All
you
right.
cut me off. Thank you.
Sorry.
I just make a couple comments. This is my district. I've never got any complaints on this. His school's gaining ground. They put a lot of heart and soul into it. If you guys ever went out there and see it, this is not like these huge tall poles. These are like, what, 40 foot maybe?
40 foot, yes.
They're 40 foot. I mean, they weren't allowed to go above the height of the building. And the
Sports
building,
court, the soccer place around here is 70 feet, is what they run their poles.
yeah, like if you go to New Melly, they're higher. I mean, hell, across the street, they have the rodeo with lights on, and I don't even think they got a permit for that, but I'm okay with it. It's fun, you know, but, so, no, it's for the children that are doing a good job with what they're trying to do, educating them. And the candle lights, even what they're requesting, is nothing like what you would see at the sports complex or these other facilities. It's very, I would almost say dull lighting. I mean, and if he needs to do an illustration, I guess he could, of some sort, or have someone do one, but this is not that big of an ask. Huh?
There's stuff in our packet.
Yeah, it's not a
that
big
you-
ask at
Pat,
all.
You can leave those with.
Okay, I will, yeah, and I made you all one, so.
Yeah.
And, you know, just to readdress, and I'm sorry, Ms. Watson, for cutting you off, but when people talk about profits and stuff, I guess it gets a little funny for me because I know how much money this place is costing me. My youngest grandchild is 9 months old. She's gonna go there through 8th grade. That's 14 more years that I will be in control of this school. So, and after that's done, I don't know what I'm gonna do because like I said, I'm building a very expensive home right up on top of the hill, and I'm not really interested in a bunch of loud noise and big lights. So, I mean, you know, I got Billy Bush across the street from me, and we do some rodeos over there, and I like the rodeos over there, but that was never the intention why I built the school, and that's not the intention what I'm doing now. And the soccer field was proposed initially in the beginning. When I applied for the school and the building, the soccer field and the lit soccer field was all part of that. I just didn't realize that a 20-foot pole and half a candlelight would mean that we would all bump into these two in the dark, because I'm not a lighting expert, so.
Any other questions? All right, thanks very much.
Thank you.
We will take this up in 2 weeks is when we'll have our vote on this. That gets us to 5432.
Bill number 5432, requested by Sarah Ever, sponsored by Mike Elam. An ordinance amending the 2025 budget as adopted by ordinance 24-106 to appropriate grant funding from the Missouri Department of Health and Senior Services to develop a formal case review team for fetal and infant deaths for the St. Charles County Department of Public Health to include an additional full-time epidemiologist and a full-time public health nurse too.
Any questions or comments? Seeing none, that gets us to 5433.
Bill number 5433, requested by Kurt Frizz, sponsored by Mike Elam. An ordinance authorizing execution of an intergovernmental agreement for receipt of funds in the amount of $50,000 from the Missouri Department of Public Safety for purchase of equipment, training, and/or technology, further amending ordinance 24-106 by providing supplemental appropriations to the St. Charles County Police Department budget.
Any questions or comments? Our final bill for introduction is 5434.
Bill number 5434, requested by Steve Ellman, sponsored by Mike Elam. An ordinance setting the 2026 rates for group medical insurance benefits with Cigna Health Insurance Company, Davis Vision, and self-insured Delta Dental insurance benefits for county employees, elected officials, and retirees.
Any questions or comments about this one? With that, that'll get us to announcements and miscellaneous. Mr. Swanson.
Yes, just to be clear, on consent agenda, we did change our December meeting dates, just for public record. That will be December 1st, which is the first Monday, and December 15th, which is the third Monday, since we really didn't make a comment about that when we did consent agenda. That's it.
Thank you. Any other announcements?
Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Ellman.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just want to thank you for everybody supporting the agreement with the city of St. Charles. I believe the city council passed it tonight as well. So it's a good example of working together. I would really thank our legal department and my staff for all the work they put in and putting this deal together. You know, negotiations are tough, and they spend a lot of time on it. I appreciate it. The only other thing I would say about it, just to correct what was said earlier, certain numbers were put out there about spending. The city is getting no additional money out of this deal. What they're getting is the money you've already approved for Main Street. They're getting it in one chunk instead of two different phases. Okay? And with regard to the money you approved years ago for Streets of St. Charles, we're relieving them of the obligation of so many certain jobs at a certain level, which they had absolutely no problem with when we did this, because they assumed there would be office buildings or offices above the retail center. But as you know, the office market has just deteriorated to the point they've been afraid to take the money and build the roads. So they now have a greater leeway on that, and it's a shame, because I think we were smart to require the jobs. But if it's going to kill the whole project, I think we're wise to go ahead and relieve them of that. But again, there's no additional money going from the hill down the hill. And thank you all again.
Any other questions or comments?
Motion. Motion adjourned.
Motion to adjourn, second? All those in favor? Aye. We are adjourned. Thank you all.